Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. I am here today with a special guest, my guy, Maurice, the sports historian. How's it going, my man?
Hey man, going real good. Glad to be on the show. Glad you asked me to be on. I feel like I was like, man, when am I gonna be on one of these? You know what I'm saying? But nah, I'm on now. Glad to be here.
Definitely, and you'll have your chance at the mini game at the end, of course. But yeah, this is our. I know I've had you on tournament in the past, and I think I even did something on your channel before. But this is the first time you've been on Bullony Basketball, so that's exciting.
For sure.
Um,
Come on, man. Had to.
and of course, the two Bulls fans. So, but
Hey, you see the flag in the background. You know what it is.
I love that. I love that. And check out this hat I just got. It's also kind of
Hard
fire.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But anyways, we got a lot to talk about, including the Bulls, but we're not going to talk about them yet. Let's start with teams that are actually doing good things, and that is the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. Both of them currently on a five-game winning streak. With the Warriors, it's like Draymond was kind of out. Then he came back from his suspension. They've been playing a little bit better lately, and guys like Jonathan Kuminga have stepped up. The Mavericks, they have really stepped up, especially since the trade deadline with, getting Kyrie back and the new additions they made. So I guess, like, what is your level of faith in these two teams for this season?
Um, so going into the season, I probably would have put them around the same area. I think maybe I might have had Dallas floating around the play-in or something like that. Right now, I think Dallas is in the play-in, and then Golden State is completely out the playoffs. Or actually, no, they've on a win streak, so they might be around that 9-10 in the play-in.
Mm.
It's hard because 5 through 10 in the West is so packed together, but they have been doing well. I'd say I have a little bit more optimism for the Mavericks than the Warriors, just because I think the time of that Warriors core, running the NBA, I think they went out with a bang in 2022. 2023, it wasn't the greatest, and then this year I think it's just time for them to blow that up, or maybe not blow it up, try to retool, whether that be leaving Clay behind or potentially leaving Draymond behind, which I don't think they do that. I think Clay would be the first one to go if they, started to break down pieces of that core. But yeah, I don't really think that the Warriors are built to last in this year's playoffs at least. And as far as the Mavericks go, I wasn't a fan of all of their offseason, purchases, transactions. They picked up Grant Williams, who they just ended up trading. But with the trade deadline, I feel like they got a lot better. I still don't know where I'd place them, but hopefully this means that like they can secure a solid playoff spot and not have to battle through the play-in, because I don't know, going through the play-in, they could make it to the playoffs or they could fall out of the playoffs. So a little bit of optimism with the Mavericks, not as much with the Warriors.
Yeah, I think there's a little gap now between, well, not like a huge gap, because I mean, even the Lakers have been winning and they're right in between these two teams, but like
Mhm.
between 8 and 9, there's like maybe 2 or 3 games. So, and Dallas is starting to creep up on like the Sacramento's, the Phoenix, the New
Mhm.
Orleans type of teams. But I would agree with you. I think Dallas is probably better suited because I'm a big fan of like what they did at the deadline. I think getting PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, they didn't really have to give up all too much. Grant Williams had his moments where he was playing pretty well, but overall, I mean, you know, I think it just eliminates Dwight Powell from the rotation, which that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we both know, like, shout out our guy run the NBA, or Devin, probably the biggest Dwight Powell hater in the world.
Dwight Powell, not a Dwight Powell
He
enthusiast.
is
No,
not a
sir.
Dwight Powell enthusiast. He's in whatever the antonym of enthusiast is. Uh,
Yeah.
that would be him.
Hater.
But yeah, he just getting like players down there though that can actually like play well with Luca and Kyrie. Kyrie getting healthy too, because like that's the other
That is a
thing.
big one.
People don't realize how many games he missed. That's a big reason. Not to take away from Luca's big game, but I don't know if Luca scores 73 points if Kyrie's playing that game. You know, so
Probably not.
yeah. But with them and like the Warriors too, it's like the Warriors are playing better, yes, but they're in such a weird spot because like you think too about like them and the Lakers are kind of more so like these older experienced teams that you're like, okay, they're gonna at least like turn a curve a little bit. They're gonna start taking it more serious at the end of the year here. We don't know what their ceiling is, but we know they're at least not gonna go down without a fight. And not only that, but both those teams are not in the top 8 right now, and they're also below them. So you got to overcome really like two hills if you're the Warriors, and that's why I think it's just going to be harder. Could they make the playoffs? Yeah, I mean they're in the play-in scenario, and there's a lot of games left, but I just don't see them going like teams like the Nuggets or the Clippers or the Suns have been playing actually really well now with their big three. Like it's just going to be hard to pick them over teams like that who have been consistently playing well for longer stretches and arguably have a more talented team.
Right. For context, as we're recording this, Dallas is 7, Sacramento's 8, Los Angeles Lakers are 9, and then the Warriors are 10. The Warriors are a full game behind the Lakers, and the Lakers are 2 games behind the Kings. Kings are half a game behind the Mavericks. So again, it's a small gap, but like still pretty close together within 4 games, that whole bunch. And then you also have the Pelicans and the Suns who aren't too far ahead of the Mavericks as well. I feel like just speaking specifically about the Warriors this time around in the Western Conference, I feel like it's just all of these teams are now they're better. There's a better baseline for teams in the West than there was last year, which is why last year we saw a team like the Lakers go from the play-in to the Western Conference Finals. I don't think something like that happens this year. I think that the top 4 are around each other in strength. I think that they're clearly ahead of the rest of the conference, though. And then when you have those solid teams that are currently in the playoffs and would have to drop down to the play-in, again, I'm just not seeing very many avenues for this this Warriors team to make it far. They could prove me wrong. They proved me somewhat wrong last year, but again, I think it's time for them to retool around Steph Curry with the years of him that they have left. It's not like they don't have him on a contract. It's just you want to waste these last few years or you want to continue to try to contend for a championship, which if you got Steph Curry, I feel like that's a pretty good start.
I think if you're Dallas or Golden State, and if you do squeak in the playoffs, I think best case scenario, you're probably hoping you play Oklahoma City in the first round. Just because like
I would say Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
I just feel
I
like
feel like in
okay,
that top 4, Minnesota is I would have Minnesota at the bottom of the power rankings in the top 4 in the West currently, and probably most likely to be a first round exit.
I just feel like it's a little bit like more matchup based. Like at least Warriors maybe not so much, but at least like with Dallas, I think Dallas has shown some success against OKC. The Warriors might be a little bit harder. They might match up actually better with Minnesota, as you said. But I just feel like a team like that, like, I mean, we see the stats all the time about how they don't have experience. I mean, I think LeBron has more playoff experience than like their whole team
combined.
Yeah, combined. Well, maybe not now because Gordon Hayward's on the team, but regardless, like basically everybody else, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting to see, but I don't think either of these teams are going past the first round. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, nah. Don't see it happening.
Yeah, but if you want, we can move on to a team who did make it past the first round last year, and that is the New York Knicks.
Let's talk about it.
This is kind of a weird instance because like the Rockets most of this game felt like they were controlling it. The Knicks came back as they usually do. They never give up without a fight. And at the very end, a foul called on Jalen Brunson, which seemed pretty skeptical. I mean, I'll let you give your take on it first. First of all, do you think it was a deserving foul call? And now with the Knicks protesting this, do you think maybe anything could happen that comes from it?
So I was watching this game like through the third quarter on. So I was watching the Knicks cut down the lead. I was like, yo, it's a really good game. And all of a sudden that foul happens, and I swear I replayed it as many times as I could. I couldn't see where the foul had actually occurred on Brunson, and I don't remember them saying like where the illegal contact had took place. So I was just like, "Yo, where did he foul him?" And then I don't know if the L2M definitely came out. Did the L2M like say that it was a missed or a wrong call?
They said apparently the head crew chief said afterwards that it was not the right call, but it was another official that
Yeah.
made it.
So
Yeah.
you look at that. I don't listen. When I was watching live, I didn't see where the contact had occurred, and I still didn't agree with the foul, even if like they had said, "Oh, there was contact on the arm or whatever." He was throwing up a heave. It's like zero point 0.3 seconds left. That's not a foul, and you shouldn't be calling it a foul. So I definitely understand the Knicks' grievance with that. I don't know how the NBA usually handles these. I don't think we've seen like a correction that would entail more time being added on to the game and them having to play that out because the game was tied. And then who did he? I forgot who he fouled, but I believe
I
it was
think it was
Aaron Holiday.
yeah, Aaron Holiday, yeah.
So he fouled Aaron Holiday. He hit two of the three, and then there wasn't he hit two of the three, and then he missed a third, so that they couldn't get a playoff. So I know the Knicks have a right to be mad at that, but don't know how the NBA is going to handle that, and I think that they're just going to have to chalk that up to it sucks. So they're going to have to get a makeup call down the line or something like that for a game because yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think Woj even said there's only been like 6 times that a protest actually was like successful with that, and I think like only one since 2000 maybe. I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
some game with like the Heat or something. I think it was like the Heat and Hawks. I don't remember even what year. It was like late 2000s, but
The
like
last time I even remember a protest like that was valid, I think it was the Harden one where he
against the
dunked it,
Spurs.
but they didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't like give him the basket, and it ended up mattering.
Mhm.
And even then, the NBA was like, "Yo, y'all still lost." So like that's tough. So that's probably how they're gonna handle it this time. Although I guess the situation is a little bit different. So I don't know.
I would say though, like this might be like the most interesting case of one that we've seen because it's like he definitely like he clearly missed, and then the clock expired, and then they called a foul. So it's like it's a tied game, it has to go an extra 5 minutes, but they also don't play again this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA just said no to that. But I think it'll matter because like I mean, you think from both perspectives. I mean, yeah, we don't think much of the Rockets, but like they're trying to get in the play in, and like if they had to redo it and they got an L, like that's going to hurt their chances. And then as for the Knicks, I mean, they're right there in the middle. Like they're a half game ahead of the Sixers right now for a home court playoff series, right? Which they've only had,
And
I think,
that could be all the difference.
yeah.
So
So like I'm not sure. I think I do agree though with you. It's like why are they calling that at the end of the game? Like
yeah,
it
like it's got to go to overtime. This was,
mm,
and especially because it was such a great rally by the Knicks because it wasn't like Houston just wasn't putting any points on the board at all. They had a few times where like all right, they was trying to hold off the momentum, and then the Knicks just they was doing what they do. Knicks in the clutch. They've been pretty decent in the clutch this season, and then just to have it end on that, it's just like yo, why?
yeah, and like usually you might see that like in favor of a superstar at the end of games or something like that. It was actually
But
the
not Aaron
opposite.
Holiday.
Like it was actually the opposite. I don't know if they thought that was Drew Holiday shooting or whatever,
I don't
but
know what happened,
I
but
don't even know if Drew
I don't
Holiday
like
would
it.
have warranted getting that foul
I
call.
don't think so.
So
Not on Brunson.
yeah,
Nah.
yeah. Especially like you come back and it's like that's how it ends. But I don't know. I think that could like those are the games you think about at the end of the year where it's like that could determine seeding. I think I remember there was who was it? I think it was when Paul George was on OKC and he hit a game-winning shot against the Rockets, and I think that made them the 6th seed that year. When if he didn't make that shot, they would have been like 8th or something. And then like that changes
Mhm.
who you play and everything. That could change all the matchups. So that might be a game they think about. But I mean, they've been playing well, even like without Randall, without Mitchell Robinson. So, I mean, if they can keep it up, like, then I guess they won't be too upset about this game. But
hopefully, but a undeserved loss in my opinion.
yeah. But if you want, we can progress here, talk about the next topic. You know, wouldn't say it's the biggest topic, but this is the biggest player that we're talking about today, and that is Victor Wembanyama. Just got a triple double with blocks, and he's only the fourth person since they've been counting blocks to do that as a rookie. Just kind of like insane things. I think he joined Mark Eaton, Ralph Sampson, and I think David Robinson did it 3 times. So, just what you're seeing out of Wemby right now, clearly the Spurs, they're terrible. They're not making the playoffs or play-in. But, what do you see as really what he can do down the line? I mean, you're already seeing guys like Paolo in his second year break out as an all-star. Like, what do you think could be the ceiling for Wemby even next year, 5 years from now?
Well, first off, David Robinson having a triple double with blocks 3 times in his rookie season. What is the deal with that?
Yeah,
that's crazy. We talking about Wemby. He's only did it once, and David Robinson did it 3 times. But still,
in an era
credit to
too
David
where
Robinson.
it's like dominated by bigs, and a lot of the guys were like his
Exactly.
height too.
So
So
yeah, credit to David Robinson, and also credit to Wemby as well. I think that one very underrated aspect of Wembanyama this season. I say underrated. Underrated is not the right word. Um, but just something that's going under the radar. Wembanyama, he's averaging less than 30 minutes per game. All of these crazy stat lines, well, probably most of them, because I'm sure that some of these games he's played maybe 32, 33 minutes. But most of these crazy stat lines he's done in under 30 minutes, which is hella scary for more than one reason. One, obviously, it's good that the Spurs are keeping his minutes, semi-restricted because you don't want him to get injured, anything like that. You don't want him to have unnecessary stress on him during his rookie season. They being precautionary with that, and I'm fine with that. But that just he's doing all of this his rookie year. So what's it going to look like when, all right, the minutes restrictions off, we feel comfortable with, how you've been playing. We feel comfortable with where your strength level's at, where your body's at. We feel comfortable that you're not going to get injured if you play a 40-minute game every now and then. His counting stats, his box scores are going to look like 2K games. And I don't think the league is ready for that. I don't think that the spectators are ready just to watch Victor Wembanyama like in the future. So if you're not watching Spurs games, the Spurs, they do suck. But watch those Victor Wembanyama minutes, because he's, as a player, he's so impactful when he does play, and he's been so good as a rookie. He's clearly been the rookie of the year. I think that earlier on in the season, Chet had an argument, and he kind of maybe still does if you want to put the winning aspect on it. But as individual players, I don't think that anyone is coming close to Victor Wembanyama right now. And it's kind of in line with our predictions previous that, yeah, he's going to run away with this award. And what's happening? He's running away with this award. Even though his team's terrible, he's still running away with the award. So I'm really, really looking forward to what we're going to see out of Victor Wembanyama just in this, in the near future, like year 2, year 3. I'm not even imagining what's going to happen when the Spurs team starts to develop other pieces and when they start to bring in veteran help from the outside and actually build a competent and competitive team around them. That's still a ways off to me, but Victor Wembanyama, amazing.
it's yeah, I kind of want to touch on your point where you said I don't even want to think about like him in like 5-10 years, because we're seeing guys like maybe like Luka who really haven't even hit his prime yet, and it's like, what can he become? Well, what about a guy who's 7'5" and plays both ends of the floor, and probably, I think really he's not a bad playmaker either. He just doesn't get the ball enough to showcase it for his teammates. So But like overall, I mean, yeah, like he can do just about everything on the floor. Like the only concern is just if he can stay healthy. And that's probably going to be the only concern that he has throughout his career because he has the capabilities, but I think with his ceiling, I think as soon as next year he could be an all-star. There were people saying he was an all-star snub this year, which I don't know about that, but like at least
Nah,
he belonged in maybe the conversation to a degree. Like maybe
for
like okay,
sure.
we'll give him some flowers. There it might kind of be pity flowers because no one probably put him on their all-star ballot. But still like he was playing good enough, and I think next year he could be, and the year after that and beyond, he'll probably be like one of the best bigs in the league. A league with Jokic and Embiid and like all these other guys that are dominating. So,
I'm gonna say it now. I think that I'm gonna predict that he's gonna be an all-star next season. From what we've seen out of him this season, again, under 30, he's averaging like I think it's 28.9 minutes per game last time I checked.
mm,
Averaging under 30 minutes per game. So once that minutes restriction, slight restriction comes off, and like we really get to see what Victor Wembanyama can do with a full basketball game, stats gonna look crazy. And I mean, obviously, I don't think the team is gonna be that good, but hey, it's an all-star campaign, not MVP. So
yeah, I'll second that
something
too.
to watch out for.
I think he's also going to be an all-star next year, and that's even if they don't like. I feel like now they're talking more than ever that they're going to expand it to 15 people. I'll say he'll be an all-star even if they don't. Like
Maybe 15s is too much. I was thinking 12,
12.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But either way, I think they should expand it regardless because the roster right now is too small.
Mhm.
It's too small.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. If you want, we can move on here and we can kind of talk about the next topic. One of the teams
Mhm.
that's been really thriving lately, they did just lose their last game. This literally always happens every time I plan. Oh, we're gonna talk about a team that's playing well and they lose a game, or we're gonna talk about a team that's playing bad, they win.
Don't
But
it be don't you just hate that?
but still, they are the best team in the league over the last like 20 or so games, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And their top player Donovan Mitchell. There's been a lot of people saying that while maybe like guys like Jokic or Giannis or someone might be at the top of the MVP ladder, that maybe this guy should be getting more MVP consideration. So I guess I should ask you, do you think maybe his MVP case is kind of going like under the radar? Maybe he deserves a little bit more consideration for that. And I guess like what have you made of him in the Cavs as of late?
So when it comes to the MVP award, this is one of the reasons that well, excuse me, this is one of the problems that I have with the award is sometimes within the NBA as viewers, a lot of times we get new toy syndrome. Now, what do I mean by that? You look at the year that somebody like Shea is having. He's having a phenomenal year. He absolutely should be in the conversation. But then all of a sudden, Embiid was clearly the MVP favorite, and hats off to him because he was playing phenomenal. But then we just forget about guys that have been, quietly or not quietly, if you've been watching, doing what they should have been doing and producing for their team, like Donovan Mitchell. I feel like Donovan Mitchell, his case, he probably doesn't have the clearest like outright MVP case like he should be the MVP, but he definitely deserves special consideration just for one how well this Cavs team has been performing in with the games that Darius Garland missed, with the games that Evan Mobley missed. Jared Allen also deserves consider special praise for that because they held the team down. A lot of Cavs fans when both Mob and Garland went down, it was like, yo, this season, this might not be the one for us. And then who is it that's keeping them afloat? Who is it that's winning them these games? It's Jared Allen and it's Donovan Mitchell. So yes, I think that his case has gone under the radar. Um, but then again, it kind of hasn't just because you have people that are doing these incredible individual performances like Embiid when before he got injured, like I would say like Jokic, but I don't. I think Jokic's MVP campaign is a little bit overblown. But like Shea's had phenomenal individual performances, as well as his team being at the top of the conference. Like Luka, who's had performances up there with Embiid this season, but his team is, lower in the standings. So, yeah, I think that he deserves a little bit more consideration, and I think that a lot more love deserves to go around, just around in the league when it comes to this MVP conversation, because oftentimes we don't appreciate just how many people in the league are playing at an elite level. You know what I'm saying? It's more than Embiid and Shea and Jokic and Giannis playing at an elite level this season. There's a bunch of players, in my opinion, who I think they kind of not getting their flowers as to what how they should be recognized in today's league. I think Kawhi is one of them. I think that Kawhi this season, he's shooting like 45% from three on pretty decent volume too. He's averaging 24 a game. The Clippers have been on one, since they started off rocky when they traded Harden. Then they got the ship right together, and it's been magic and happy rainbow since. He's somebody that should get MVP, consideration, and Donovan Mitchell is definitely a part of that.
Yeah, I think, just off thinking, and it's funny you mentioned Kawhi because just like off the top of my head, I would probably on my ladder put him like 6 right now, which is like somewhere around that range of like 5 to 10 is probably where he would sit. But obviously guys like Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Kawhi, Luka, like those guys have been playing really well. I think you could, I know the Celtics have been playing really good, but I think you could even argue between him and Tatum at this point, just off the individual seasons that they've had. But overall, like maybe 6th or 7th is probably where he'd go. But I do think it's a little underappreciated just because like this was the first week that he was even in the MVP ladder, like on NBA.com. And I think he was like 10th. So like no disrespect to guys like Domantas Sabonis, who has been great.
For a minute now.
It's just bad. Like I don't mean to slander like guys like Sabonis and I know Kevin Durant's played well. I know he also had a stretch where he wasn't kind of playing the same way, but like, this is a guy who lost his second and third best player really, and they keep winning. Yeah, you could say it's an easy schedule, but like you could look at that schedule and say, okay, well they still beat the Kings, they beat the Bucks twice, they beat the Clippers, they beat the Mavericks. Like there's still good teams in there. Like, so I don't know. I've
never been one for the week schedule, like talking point, because you play who's in front of you. And if they were to lose to this week schedule, it'd be held against them because it's a team that they're supposed to beat. So again, I don't like the week schedule stuff. They tried to do it with Embiid towards the beginning of the season. I didn't like it. He was balling out on the weak ass teams, but like he was balling out against everybody. So I don't get where that narrative came from. It kind of reminds me of the empty stats narrative back in the day that has kind of gotten still applied to some players. I'm not going to mention it because this isn't my show and I don't want to bring us on a tangent, but yeah, I don't like the weak schedule narrative. And also, like, do NBA fans not know that they play the exact same teams the exact same number of times each year? Like, is that aside from this year because of the in-season tournament stuff? But that's long gone at this point. Long been over with. We've had our in-season tournament and it's been decided already. We're past that. We're going to All-Star break now. So any extra miles at that one extra game or 2 extra games put on the Lakers and the Pacers that played the extra game, just add them on because they've played half a season at this point. So yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think like your division would have to be like really bad for someone to make an argument about your schedule even in the slightest, because like I think you play those teams the most, but like and like
we can't all be the Pacific Division with the Warriors and the Lakers and the Clippers and the Kings. And who else is it? That division is crazy, by the way. Yeah. Is the Suns the last team in that division? That's wild.
Yeah, that is a crazy. I think all of them made the playoffs last year, but
that is true.
I don't know if they will. Again this year we're gonna have to see. But at least for the Cavs and like Mitchell, I do think that it's gone a little bit under the radar. I think lately more people are starting to pay attention to it. But I mean, last year, I think I'm a firm believer. Last year, he deserved first team All NBA. But I will say, like this year, I think he probably, especially with the positionless stature or whatever, like
Mhm.
I would say he's probably in line to be at least second team All NBA, and I think that's fair. Like I feel like that should be a top 10 player of the season. Maybe you could say in the league, there's other players that have had worse seasons or just been hurt. Like Embiid won't even qualify now. But like, just I think he should be at least all NBA second team, maybe first team if the Cavs keep winning and he's playing better.
Mhm.
So
I could see a second team spot. Um, I don't think he has enough clout, nor do I think he's been playing well enough to snatch a first team spot. Just because that first team, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we're gonna see a whole lot of variation within that first team, barring like injury and stuff like that, and obviously exceptions because Embiid obviously would have been a first team lock had he, had enough games to qualify. But within like these next 3 years, I don't know how much I see the first team budging. Um, if it's supposed to be more representative of just the 15 best players in the NBA, those 5 spots, like, all right, if we rattle off first team spots, Jokic is gonna get one, Giannis is gonna get one, Embiid would have gotten one, but he's not gonna get one. Luka, that's already 3 spots. So you want
yeah,
to talk about you want Shea on there, you could throw Tatum on there. I guess you could potentially have a Donovan Mitchell on there, but then what about a guy like Steph Curry? He's been, he's been hooping. What about somebody like Kawhi? He's been hooping. So first team might be is it's possible. I will say it's possible, but I think second team is probably more feasible as to what Donovan Mitchell will end up on this season.
I think right now probably first team would be something like Luka, Shea, Jokic, Giannis, and I would put Kawhi over Tatum personally. I'd put Tatum on second team with Mitchell, and then
For
you
sure.
throw in guys like Curry, Durant, Booker, Ant. Like there's other guys too in there.
And
Jalen
see,
Brunson.
now that it's positionless, you got to think of, all right. Well, KD's had a crazy season. His shooting splits are still off the chain. If I like
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly, Devin Booker's adjusted to his new role as point guard, and he's averaging like 8 assists on top of keeping his scoring production up. With now adding a third star, that's something to keep in mind. De'Aaron Fox, he's tapered off slightly, but he started off the year great, and his numbers are still up from last year in, I believe, almost every category. A guy like
LeBron will
Sabonis,
probably get in too.
LeBron,
I'm sure.
Sabonis has had a better season than Fox up to this point.
Mm.
He's had a better season than a lot of people. So again, All NBA is going to be interesting how stuff shake out. Definitely going to be a few people that feel like they have been snubbed, but I think that overall the positionless change is good because I feel like people should feel like, yo, I got snubbed. I should be over this guy. If it's the NBA's best 15 and you feel like you got snubbed and you can point to this guy and say, yo, I'm better than him. Like take him out and I deserve that all NBA spot. I think that's better. I think that's good for the competitiveness of the league and also just for conversation as well. Who doesn't like talking about all NBA snubs and stuff like that, things of that nature.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. But let's shift gears here. Let's talk about a team that won't get anyone on All NBA, didn't have anyone on All Star, and didn't even send anybody to Allstar Weekend for the first time in I think like more than 40 years, and that's our Chicago Bulls. Um, you know, I even send you like when I send you the rundown, I titled it "The Chicago Bulls Continuity Quest Continues."
Continuity.
So they didn't make a trade. They haven't made a trade for a player since like August of 2021. This is back-to-back deadlines. They've gone the longest without making a trade for a player, and
This is absolutely just
just
hearing
let
this
me
is
let
just
me
like,
hear it.
yo, are you serious? But no, keep listening because hearing this is just like, yeah,
Yeah, it's just bad. I mean, like you would think after missing the playoffs last year, like that would be a sign you got to do something. Maybe you got to
Nope.
rebuild. Maybe you got to do something to make a move. But, obviously, a lot of people probably don't want Lonzo's contract because he's injured as can be.
Mhm.
And so it's like you got that to deal with. But on top of it, it's like, just guys like Levine who's out, and Patrick Williams is missing time now. And, like guys that either you have to pay or think about paying or you just paid. Like it's literally like all like that. It's not someone who's like in the middle of their contract. It's literally like you either just paid them or they're like at the end of it, which is like the worst case scenario. So I think like I don't know. It's just like bad, and it's like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Um, as a Bulls fan, this season has been one of my least favorite seasons in a while. Last season, obviously, we missed the playoffs, but I thought that towards the end of the season, we made a push to actually like land ourselves securely in the play-in. We had a chance at actually making the playoffs. We would have been a first round out, but we had a chance at making the playoffs. Unfortunately, we lost because our MVP, she had school. She couldn't show up to Miami. No, but I don't. I'm tired. I'm. I'll structure my thoughts. I'm tired of us being either slightly above or exactly at mediocrity. I'm tired of that for one. I'm tired of us being mediocre and United Center still being as full as it is. That we have no control over because Bulls fans pack out United Center every time they play. And it's great because like who doesn't love to who wouldn't want to have a stadium as involved and as fun as United Center like in their city. I love United Center and I love the crowd there. I always will. But like this is not a good basketball product that we're seeing being displayed at United Center. There's truthfully no reason for us to be spending our money there and continuing to watch this garbage. I'm I'm sick of. I'm tired of. Hold on, I got something in my eye.
The Bulls got you all over.
I did. I'm tired of Billy Donovan. I don't want him as the coach of my team anymore. I've wanted him um, off my team for the better part of 2 years now. I he's his time as head coach of the Bulls has run its course, and I don't think that anybody besides like the fans have seen that. I don't get it. I'm tired of the front office. I'm tired of us consistently not doing anything. There was a point in time where Bulls fans, we were like, hey, we have the opportunity to go get someone like a Jeremy Grant. It would have cost us maybe Kobe White. It would have cost us maybe Patrick Williams. We didn't pull the trigger, and I was cool with that. But then we like kept on not pulling the trigger, and it's like, yo, are we gonna do anything with what we have to
Hmm.
contend, or are we just going to continue being 6 seed and below? Are we going to continue being mediocre? Are we going to continue just barely skating by and having fans that support us no matter what, but we're just in the middle of no man's land and we can't commit to a direction. We can't commit to if we want to rebuild or if we want to stay competitive with the team that hasn't been competitive since Lonzo got hurt, truthfully. Um, and I'm just as this has been a disastrous season, almost fully, except for Kobe White, his breakout, and Patrick Williams, his improvement as well. Although it has been not as much as I would have wanted to see, but this season has been disastrous for the Bulls organization. It's been disastrous for Bulls fans because we have to watch another year of mediocre basketball. It's been disastrous for our assets because we had an opportunity to trade Caruso, didn't take it. Now he's under contract for another year, and I don't know if what we're going to get from him next year. We would have. I think that this year was probably what we could have gotten the most out of Caruso for. He's coming off of a first team all defensive selection. He's upped his offensive production. He's still a staunch defender, perimeter defender, top 5 perimeter defender in the league. Top 3, if you ask me, top 1 because I'm biased. We had the opportunity to trade Zach LaVine. We somehow waited until there was no market. I don't think people really understand how bad our front office is. I'm going to say it. This has been the worst front office that I've witnessed as a Bulls fan. And I'm saying that just because, like, we haven't done anything, bro. It's the same thing. It's continuity. It's continuity. What are we doing with this continuity if we're not any good? We got our team chemistry is on 1,000, but like we still suck. So what does it matter? It's very hard being a Bulls fan in the 21st century. I was born in 2002, so I mean I can claim Jordan's rings, but I've never seen my Chicago Bulls raise a banner. I've never seen us in the NBA Finals. I've never seen it. The closest we got was the Eastern Conference Finals, and since then it's been all downhill. And I cannot see, I can't see over the horizon anymore. We're in no man's land. We're stuck. We need help. We are a premier city. We're a premier franchise. We should not have to deal with this. Like I said it, I've said it numerous times over the past few weeks. If there's one thing I don't wish on any sports fan, it's having a terrible front office, because it'll cripple you in ways that you will never see coming. Like how many teams do you know that are going 3+ years without making a single trade?
The Bulls.
The Bulls, exactly. How many teams do you know that are drafting young players just to not give them any burn and expect them to produce when they haven't, had the time to develop their skills actually on an NBA court? Yeah. The Bulls. Like I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
It's just bad. Like even when you said, and I was just saying, wow, because like it's just sad that it has to come to that where it's like this is the worst front office, because it's like it's actually valid to an extent. You know what I mean? Like literally, like at least Garpax wasn't good either, but at least they drafted pretty well. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, they drafted Kobe White, who's breaking out now. But you know what I mean? Like because the one good thing I guess about AK and Mark Eversley is that since they don't make a trade and eventually Kobe White got a chance, that I guess now he can do that. But like that's not on them. It's they're not making any of the right moves. And like I know Bulls fans disagree with me. I'm not as high on Patrick Williams as a lot of other people would say. Like I just don't think that I don't think he has that like in him when they compare him like a lot to, he's baby Kawhi. Like please stop comparing him to baby Kawhi. We gotta please stop that. Like he can be a better player than he is right now one day, but he'll never be that. And just like you said it with Billy Donovan, like I was one of the people on the record saying I'm not a fan of Billy Donovan's coaching when we were the 1 seed. I was saying this. I'm like, we're the 1 seed, but I don't like Billy Donovan as the coach. I don't trust him. Like, this is what I was saying. And honestly, shoot, that guy's still on the sidelines. Give Chris Fleming a chance, because he coached us to our biggest win streak in this DeRozan and, Levine and those guys era together.
If I'm not mistaken, was that due to
Yeah, I think for Donovan, and he was out or something. But Chris Fleming had to step in, and we were on a roll. Donovan came back, we fell down, and yeah, maybe that's a really small sample size. But all I'm saying is, if you're giving Billy Donovan a million chances to fail, then how come you can't give other guys 1 chance or 2 chances?
See, and I had a point. I just forgot, but I'll swing back to it if I remember. The thing is I remember. I remember the report coming out from, I don't remember if it was Shams or Woj who broke it, but like we had handed Billy Donovan a secret extension that like nobody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, I was like, yeah, this team's going to be mediocre for the foreseeable future because I just don't understand how you hand out. Number one, I do understand it because this all ties back to Jerry Reinsdorf. And I have a bigger point to make with Jerry Reinsdorf, but I won't do it here because, again, this isn't my video. Um, Jerry Reinsdorf handed out that secret contract. He handed it off in secret because I bet that he knew that most Bulls fans were like, yo, I don't know about extending Billy Donovan or whatever. Cool. He did that secret extension. We don't know how much it's for. We don't know when the contract's up. But then, like, for Jerry Reinsdorf to see us playing 500 and below, 500 and below, 500 and below, year after year, and there to not be major shakeups in the front office, in the head coaching area, it sucks because we know that Jerry is all about his money. He don't care that the Bulls are 500 and below every season. You want to know why? Because United Center damn near sells out every game. He doesn't care. He's got my Sox in the exact same predicament. Not the exact same, but pretty similar because he doesn't care. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about the dollar, which, again, if you don't have a team owner that's competitive enough to like, yo, all right, we're going to get this team some hardware. We're going to improve this team year by year. And you just have one that's just content on, sitting on his hands and making money. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I got the Cubs, even though it's not much of a not much better, I guess, but it's, I guess, different.
Hey, y'all have a more recent championship than us, so
that is true.
There you go.
That is true. But yeah, I don't
Game
know.
7 was so fluky though. Y'all should not have won that. Y'all should not have won that.
Hey, Jason Hayward gave the greatest speech of all time in the middle of that rain delay. It was meant to be.
Fantastic game though. That's an all-time game.
That is an all-time game. But anyways, I don't know. I just think Bulls are in trouble, and if they don't realize it soon, I mean, the thing that irritates me too, like you said about Billy Donovan's secret extension, I feel like that broke trust a little bit in the team because it felt weird. But then also, now I'm seeing, you just re-signed Vucevic, and now, there's rumors maybe they want to renegotiate with DeRozan. Listen, I like DeRozan. I've always been, a big DeMar fan since he's been here. Probably gave us some of the most exciting times since, guys like Rose were on the team and Joakim and those guys. But if he signs with the Bulls again next season, I might have to riot. I might. Yeah, it's getting to that point. You're just content with, here we are. We're just a team.
We're just a team. Another thing with the DeRozan potentially re-signing is that's again another if he doesn't re-sign and he just goes to a different team, that's another asset that you had an opportunity to trade, had a trade window, had potential trades lined up, had teams calling, for DeMar DeRozan. Shut them all down just to lose him for absolutely nothing. So we didn't get any value out of DeMar DeRozan. We just paid him, played sub 500 basketball. He was Billy Donovan's favorite target to shoot a game winner because God help us if he draws up a play for anybody else besides DeMar DeRozan. It's going to go to DeMar DeRozan, and you're going to like it. And it's going to be heavily contested, by the way. But yeah, I don't know, man.
That shot against the Magic the other day. That three.
The shot against the Magic. There was I forget who we played, but it doesn't matter who we played. We played a team. We got blown out in the first half, and then we got it. We brought it close, and then there was a timeout. We're probably down 2 or 3, and instead of all going to anybody else, it went to DeMar DeRozan, who shot a heavily contested shot, and it missed. There you go. I just described half of the Bulls' clutch games this season. You're welcome. You don't even have to watch them.
You just described the last two years.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? It's to the point where I don't even have to watch the Bulls. I know what's gonna happen. Yeah. I know what's gonna happen. It's the formula is laid out, and it's run its course. Please, someone save us, because this is not good basketball.
I'm just glad they won the game I went to. Don't know how, but I guess they did.
They did.
But yeah, if you want, we can move on. We talked a lot about the Bulls. I'm sure that was probably the longest topic, but that was long overdue, and that's why I waited to
It was.
talk
It
about it
was.
with fellow Bulls fan, because I know we'd both have a lot to say. But we can move on to the next topic, which is talking about Kobe Bryant statues. There's going to be 3 of them, and the first one has been revealed from his 81 point game, and he's like, kind of pointing up to the crowd and stuff like that. I guess there's also going to be a number 24 Kobe statue, and then also one with him and Gigi. So I guess for like the number 8 Kobe, I guess was this probably the memory that makes the most sense for the statue, or was there something else? And then what do you think about the 3 statues thing?
Yeah, yeah. Unless you wanted to pull something from specifically the titles that he won as 8. I'm pretty sure when he was sitting with the trophy, he had his 8 jersey on. With that, which photo I'm talking about, the iconic one. He was sitting in his 8 jersey. But even then, that wasn't the most positive moment for Kobe. It just turned to be iconic. So this is probably the right choice for the 8 statue. As Vanessa said, this was the one that Kobe chose. So you got a problem with it? Hey, oh well. But yeah, this was definitely a good choice. And also, I didn't know that they were unveiling the trophy in it with the statue, and then it would be outside crypto already. I didn't know that. I thought they was gonna have some installation process or whatever, but no, it's done. So yeah, great statue, fantastic.
Yeah, I think it is probably the right statue to choose for the number 8. The only other thing I was thinking of, but I was thinking why didn't they do that jersey or that statue? But then I guess it makes more sense because those teams that he was on, even though the moment was great, those teams were trash around him. And I was thinking when he did this after he hit that game winner against the Suns, and that's kind of the only thing, or maybe when he pulled his jersey or after that or something, maybe something like that. But I mean, overall,
was he wearing 8 or was he wearing 24 when he did the? Because I know what you're
that
talking
was his
about.
last year wearing 8. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the only other thing I was thinking of, but also that 81 point game happened that year, and I think they ended up losing that series, so maybe it's not a great memory, more so than scoring 81. No one's done that. There's people that be no one's ever done that because they'll say Wilt's 100 point game didn't exist because it's not on film.
It didn't. It doesn't exist. I'm convinced it doesn't.
But yeah, so considering he has the highest scoring NBA game on film, I think that's definitely something that should be up there. And I'm trying to think what maybe could be for number 24. Maybe
one that I have in mind for 24 is the 2K10 cover. That one is a good statue for 24. Or also, you could just have the jersey bite. That's a good one as well. But if I was in charge of it, I would make it the 2K10 cover where he's you know what I'm saying, like this. Yeah, that pose is so iconic to me. And the fact that it's the 2K10 cover as well, yeah, that's probably the one that I would pick for 24.
That's a pretty good choice. I think the only other 2 I was thinking was that one picture. I think after he beat the Celtics, where he is kind of leaned down like this, and he's screaming yeah, or maybe they could do one where it's he was on the doing this or whatever on the scores table or something.
Oh yeah, he had the ball in his hand, right?
I think so, but it was after they just won too. So
yeah, that was super tough.
Probably one of those 3.
Actually,
I don't know.
That one is pretty good. I might have to change my answer from the 2K10 cover to that one because, yeah, man, that one shows equal. The 2K10 cover one would also show emotion, but you could have the main focal point of that be the 24 on the back with you could have the ball as well. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. I like that one. I also have another idea for what the 8 could have been. We know the photo of Kobe standing next to MJ during the All-Star game. Could have just been Kobe, cut MJ out and then have that as the statue for that one. I feel like that's also a iconic 8 moment as well.
Yeah. There are a lot. I mean, I don't think so far. I mean, solid choice for sure, and hopefully 24 is as well. And then I'm assuming the one with him and Gigi is probably going to be like when they were sitting on the sidelines that one game, and it's like the picture of like him
Mm-hmm.
kissing her on the head or something. That would be
Either that
my
one
guess.
or wait, was that during
I think that was like
All-Star Weekend?
I think that was in like 2019. I want
Because
to
I was gonna
say.
say there was one where during All-Star Weekend, I think it was like the last time that the West had like the West jerseys. Um, there's one where he was sitting with Gigi that they could use for a pose as well.
Hmm.
But I guess that one will probably be chosen by Vanessa.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean,
Do
overall,
they
I
have
think
like dates as to when these are like gonna be unveiled?
dates for these, I don't know yet. I think they just said it's gonna be like at a later date. I'm sure it
Mm.
probably has something to do with Kobe theme because they released it on 2/8/24. So like Gigi's number, Kobe's number, another Kobe number. So
So that might be when that one gets released,
probably August
and
2nd,
then
maybe.
you're on the
Hey,
sun.
I'm on to
You're on the
something.
sun.
They can't fool me. No, but anyways, yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. He's getting like multiple statues because, um, he did a lot for, the Lakers, who are like pretty much the biggest team in the NBA. Like, so yeah, I think he definitely deserves something special, for him. But yeah, I don't know if you want though, we can move on. Kind of just talk about, we don't have to go, I guess, like too crazy in depth about this, but obviously All-Star Weekend is, upon us. Basically, it's in the coming days. And so, now we know kind of like who's all in every event. And just
Mhm.
like overall, I know I kind of made some predictions a few episodes ago, but just kind of to discuss, like, I guess, like, what are you expecting or what are you looking forward to this All-Star Weekend?
Um, well, I'm very much so looking forward to Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu, the 3 point competition that they're gonna have.
Mm-hmm. I
Also looking forward to the 3 point contest, like I do every year. That I feel like the 3 point contest is the the most consistently watchable event during All Star Weekend because sometimes the dunk contest is hit or miss. When it hits, it hits. When it misses, I don't want to see it on my screen. The skills challenge is always cool too, but like the 3 point contest, you know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
like the 3 point contest and then the All Star game are the two like events that I want to see the most. This year, I think they have a pretty decent lineup for the slam dunk competition. Mac McClung is in it again. I don't even think what team is he on?
He's
He's on a
he's like with
team
the
just for
Magic's
this.
G League, I think, but he's not even on their team. And I think
Hey,
they got Obi Toppin's
listen.
brother, who's like not even on a team either.
Yeah, yeah. I listen. I don't know. They might have to expand to include just start including G League talent so they could, get a piece of All Star Weekend. But I don't know. The pool looks all right though. Looks cool. It's four. I remember, yo, in previous years, wasn't it like 6 entrants? Like way back in the day, wasn't it like 6 entrants
For the
to the
dunk.
yeah.
Yeah, there were six usually, and then they cut it to four. Like, but they've had the four since like even like the 2016 one, and that was, I guess, a really good one.
But yeah, but I don't know. I just remember the slam dunk competition being like more interesting. Like when I was watching Nate Robinson win it, and when I watched Nate Robinson win it again, and when I watched Dwight Howard win it. Like I don't know, the slam dunk competition in recent years is just outside from the ones that have been spectacular. It's just been there. So I hope that we can get a good one this year. Last year, Mac McClung, he did his thing. Hopefully, he can do his thing this year again too. Jalen Brown's also in it. He's a good dunker. I don't know about dunk contest dunker, but he's a good dunker. So hopefully we can see something interesting in that. And yeah, All Star Weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the small break that we get. I love this time of year always because, well, for one, my birthday is in April, and no one else in my family's is like during January through in my immediate family is through from January to April. So I have the first birthday of the year. So that's why I kind of like this time of the year. So I can, save my money and I don't have to get anybody gifts just yet. But another reason why I like this time of the year so much is because, now we're coming off the heels of football season ending, and now this is where the NBA season really starts to ramp up. It's right before All-Star break, and then after All-Star break, it fully takes off, and then we see like, all right, now we're talking about potential playoff matchups. We're looking at these teams as who's really contenders now, because everything up until this point is just like it's the appetizer for the NBA season. I hate to say it like that, but it kind of is. October through I'd say January is still like, we go from early season to all right, less early, and then January comes around, all right, we're starting to see things take shape, take form, and then after All-Star break, it's all right. Now we into the meat and potatoes of the season, which again, this is a little off topic, but I got to shout out the NBA for making those early games matter a little bit more with the in-season tournament. Um, Good job, good decision. They matter, and I watch them. But yeah, this I like the quick speed up that we have after All Star break. I like seeing players go on post All Star break runs where you look at their numbers pre All Star break and how they turned it on after. It's like they figured something out or whatever. I'm looking forward to all of that. I love all of that. I'm a basketball nerd, so like All Star break and what happens after, I love it all the time. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for All Star break, and hopefully we get a good show.
Yeah, I mean, I think you really kind of hit everything right on the nail. But you know, it like you said, the 3-point contest is going to be electric. The Steph and Sabrina shootout should be nice. I got Sabrina winning.
For sure.
No, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it could go either way, really. But I was just saying that just to hate on Curry a little bit. But but anyways, the All Star game should be good. Rising Stars Challenge. I I like the format with like the four teams. I just don't like the idea that like one team is like all these like G League Ignite type of guys or something. Like they
Yeah, they
should
gotta do
balance it
they gotta do
out.
a better job with picking the teams. Like it's
Yeah.
one of the teams is just Team Pacers.
Yeah, like for the
Bro, what
skills
the
or
hell?
something. Yeah, like uh,
That's like you're cheating.
but I'm tired of seeing teams for the skills challenge. Like I just want to see the tournament thing again, like where they're racing down the floor and then they got to hit a three at the
Yeah, the
end.
one on one.
Yeah, like that was cool. Like I want to see that again. And the dunk contest, like you said, it's really hit or miss. I think last year was actually really good, and I think with Mac McClung there again, it will be pretty good. Obviously, more people will probably be watching just because like Jalen Brown's in it, and that's probably the best player who's done it in like several years. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I just think like there are some other things that they could add to All Star Weekend, even if it's just like a yearly new thing, like Steph and Sabrina this year. Like what's next year? Like I really think they should still. I don't get why they got rid of it. I feel like they should bring back the Shooting Stars Challenge when
Yeah,
they had like an
for sure.
NBA, WNBA, and a former NBA player. Like especially now, like especially in the next couple years, where in the WNBA, like you might have like Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark or like Juju Watkins in years from now or Haley Van Lith, all these other people like that maybe have more hype. Like I feel like it would be perfect to like cross it over at All Star Weekend and maybe even like do something like with the WNBA's All Star Weekend was even something that I heard was mentioned. Like they have Sabrina coming over for the NBA. Why not send like an NBA player to do something like for the WNBA All Star Weekend or something like a shooting
For
challenge?
sure,
But
like a layup challenge or something like that. Who can have the most creative layup or something like that.
yeah, no, can't do it. Probably can't do a dunk contest. uh,
Yeah, probably not.
but like something you could do, like even if it's like a skills challenge, like a dribbling, passing, and then like shooting thing, like they could do that. But overall, I think like there should just be like more things. I know a 1v1 competition was mentioned at one point. Horse they used to do, they got rid of it. But like these are things that, and I'm a little surprised they got rid of the horse thing because I remember like I was watching like NBA TV and they were showing an old clip of like I think George Gervin and like Pete Maravich or something were going against each other. Like they were doing it that long until like I think Durant was in it and like Rondo and those guys or something. So I don't know, just different ideas. I'm interested to see how the Pacers do because it's in Indiana. I'm not going, but it's close. But I mean, I'm just curious to see like how the home team always does. Because I thought last year, Markkanen would win the 3-point contest. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Halliburton has that. Maybe they win the skills challenge, and they don't have anyone in the dunk contest. No,
I'm not gonna lie. I would expect them to win the skills challenge, seeing his 3 teammates.
The team ones I think have won every time. I think the Cavs won it, and then the Jazz won it the last 2 years. Like ever since they've done that.
I mean, they should probably stop putting teammates for the skills challenge. Seems a little too easy, but hey, what do I know? I felt like the Shooting Stars challenge was great. Kenny was always so funny when he do the Shooting Stars challenge, bro. They got to bring that back, man. Yo, Adam Silver, you're making great changes to the NBA. Can like you start to improve All-Star Weekend as well? Because I feel like with All-Star Weekend, we've kind of lost the plot just a little bit. We're getting a little too funky. Let's go back to like what made it fun. Shooting Stars challenge, bring that back. I like what they're doing this year with Steph and Sabrina. Do more stuff like that. But yeah, it's like bring it back. And listen, I'm gonna say this, and then we could probably be done with it because how much do we have to talk about All-Star Weekend? If you NBA players are too scared to do a one-on-one tournament, it's fine. Please just say that so we can stop requesting it. Please.
Facts.
Because we've been requesting it forever. The NBA not giving it to us. I don't think y'all want to do it. So y'all let us know if y'all are scared or not. All right?
Yeah.
There you go.
And the other thing too with the Shooting Stars challenge, I always said it would be cool if they did bring it back. What if they did that and then like at half court, the half court shot had to be made by like a mascot? Because like they shoot them all the time. You know what I mean? Like
they do shoot them all the time.
Like I would want to see like you get like, well, it wouldn't be Jordan probably wouldn't do it, but like if you, let's say theoretically Michael Jordan and DeMar DeRozan and just like all these people like together, and then like at the end you have like Benny the Bull shooting the half court shot.
Yeah, that would be electric.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. So I don't know, but either way, we'll have to see what happens in the coming years. I think this year should be interesting, but for now, let's move on to the mini game, the NBA Fast Money mini game.
Let's get it.
So how it's gonna work, I've done it a few times. Hopefully you guys watching know by now, but I will explain it again. So I'm gonna give my guy Mo here 60 seconds to answer 5 NBA related questions. Now it could be current based, former based, anything like that. And your goal is to kind of think like the average person. How would they respond to this question? Maybe you might think something different in your head, like, oh, I like this answer, but try to think like the average person. And what else? Oh yeah, if you don't have an answer right away, you can skip it, and then I'll come back with it at the end if there's time.
Alrighty.
So are you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's see. All right, ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give me a former player that hosts a podcast.
Former player. Pass.
Okay, give me an NBA team that's been the 1 seed at the end of a season in this decade.
Bucks.
Okay, give me an NBA player that was traded this month. February.
Daniel Gafford.
Give me a city outside the U.S. that has hosted an NBA global game.
Mexico. That's not a city.
Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Okay. Give me an all-time great Chicago Bull not named Michael Jordan.
Dennis Rodman.
Okay, and back to the first one. Give me a former player that hosts a podcast. You have like 20 seconds.
Okay, former player that hosts a podcast. Oh, Kevin Garnett.
Alrighty, and that is time.
I don't know why that one caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. That one caught me off guard. I had to think about it for a little minute, but Kevin Garnett.
That one's a little tricky too, because like there are some answers of like players. I will say like before I reveal it, there are players that are on podcasts that maybe aren't like hosts, so they didn't get points for this. But that one was a little bit tricky. But we'll
I said you said name a city. I said Mexico. Oh, listen. I know Mexico City is hosted a game. That's where my mind was. I know Mexico's not a city. I promise.
That's what I was gonna like. If you didn't say anything there, I was just gonna default it to Mexico City because I'm like, that's what you probably were thinking of. But okay, so the first question was, give me a former player that hosts a podcast. You said Kevin Garnett. Pretty good answer. That was the number 2 answer on the board at 21 points.
What's number 1? Paul Pierce.
Number 1 was actually Charles Barkley with the Steam Room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then other players on here were like JJ Redick, Gilbert Arenas, Shaq. Paul Pierce was on here. Steven Jackson.
I'll take number 2. I'll take the number 2.
Matt Barnes.
The
guy I do not like. You probably even know who it is. I'm the biggest hater of him. But I will not say his name. Quentin Richardson, Udonis Haslem, and Mike Miller.
Okay.
So overall, pretty good answer. The second one, you said, give me an NBA team that's been the 1 seed at the end of a season in this decade. You said the Bucks.
I don't know if they been the 1 seed. I might have just said that. I don't know if they've been the 1 seed, actually.
They have not been the 1 seed once.
Why didn't I just say like Celtics?
Because they've been the 1 seed twice, and it was the number 1
answer.
Hey,
let's go. All right.
I kind of tricked you there.
I was like, yo, the Bucks, they did pretty good, right? Can't be misremembering that.
They were the 1 seed, Giannis' second MVP year, and then last season. Last season, I feel like it's kind of forgotten because it was such a bad year for them. But yeah. So
they were the 1 seed. They did lose to the 8.
Mm-hmm. They were 28 points though, so that puts you at 49. Also, the Lakers got points. The Nuggets, Suns, Jazz, Sixers, and the Heat.
So Celtics haven't been a 1 seed this decade.
They have not. They were poised to, I think, last year, and then that's when the Bucks overtook them at the end.
Yeah. Because the Bucks had a crazy home record, if I'm not mistaken, or road, one of the two.
Yeah, they were cooking near the end. I think they went on a big win streak too, and then I think like Philly snapped it or something. Or maybe I'm thinking the other way around. Maybe Philly, one of those teams snapped the other team's big win streak. I think it was the Bucks streak though. But okay, so number 3, give me an NBA player that was traded this month. So since February 1st, you said Daniel Gafford. There were a lot of answers on this one, and he did get some points. He got you 4 points. So
all right, could have did better on that. Did better.
Number 1 was Buddy Hield. And then the other names were Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, Olynyk, Pat Bev, then Daniel Gafford, Monte Morris, Cameron Payne, Alec Burks, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Grant Williams. So quite the list of players.
You know why I said Daniel Gafford? It's because we were talking about the Mavericks earlier. So he was on the brain. It
was on the mind. But yeah, so still you did get some points there. You got 4 there. The fourth one, give me a city outside the US that has hosted an NBA global game, not a country. And you said Mexico City. And that was a good answer because that was the number 1 answer. It got you 30 points.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
The other answers on there were Paris, London, Tokyo.
Is Tokyo on there?
Yep.
Tokyo.
And the last 2 are also Japanese cities, Yokohama and Saitama. I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how they got points.
Saitama makes sense. I believe they have like crazy baseball stuff over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it called the Saitama Superdome? Don't have me up here lying. I know they go crazy for baseball over there. So
yeah. So overall, I mean, not too bad. And then the 5th one, give me an all-time great Chicago Bull, not named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You said Dennis Rodman. Not a bad answer. That got you 14 points, and that was number 3 on the board.
Number 3. So I can assume Pippen was one. Was Derrick Rose another one?
Pippen and Derrick Rose. You are correct. They were the top
Okay.
two.
I see. My mind went to Derrick Rose first, but I didn't know how it was going to be structured because he's still a current player.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman's still an all-time great.
And then the
Bulls.
other people that got votes: Joakim Noah, Bob Love, Luol Deng, and there were even a few votes for Mr. Original Bull, Jerry Sloan.
Jerry Sloan.
Zach LaVine got a vote. DeRozan got a vote.
Oh my goodness!
So it was kind of egregious at the bottom. And then also Artis Gilmore and Jimmy Butler were the other ones that got some votes. So overall, I mean, you got points on every single question. You got that totals up to 97, I believe, which is pretty good. How do you feel?
Could have did better. I feel like I should have went with the obvious choice in Pippen at the last one, and then again I chose Daniel Gaff because we was just talking about the Mavericks. But hey, I did pretty good. 60 seconds. I even had time to think about the first question. I'm confident with how I did. I did pretty good.
I know I was a little nervous on the first one because I know you took like 10 seconds and you're like,
I had to
pass.
think. I had to think about it. It caught me off guard. I remember.
And I was like, oh no, he's not gonna get it. But then you thought of it pretty quickly. So yeah, 97. I'd have to see where that is, but I know I think that's somewhere in the middle actually. So I think you might be somewhere in the top half of scores so far. So that's pretty good.
Hey, as long as we above the median, that's all I can ask for.
Facts. But yeah, overall, I mean, solid showing in the minigame, good performance, and then I thought it was a really good show overall. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. You got any other final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I looked it up. It's the Saitama Super Arena. That's where they played, so I was right. But yeah, man, appreciate you for having me on. We talked about we talked about a lot of good stuff, and I'm a shameless plug. I have a video coming out relatively soon about not the Bulls, but Chicago sports in general, and it'll some of the things that I mentioned in this are definitely going to be in there. So check that out if you guys are interested. I don't know when it's going to be out. Don't ask me, but it will be coming out soon. So yeah, that's all I got though. Maurice Sports Historian on YouTube. That's the channel. Go give me a watch if you're interested in sports content.
Yes, sir. I'll have it in the description below. You guys can go check it out. Turn on the post noties so you can see when that video comes out. And yeah, other than that, again, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.